Did you know in Nick Chubb's third game in the NFL, he rushed for 105 yards on only 3 carries and he scored 2 touchdowns? Of course you didn't. And that basically explains the Nick Chubb experience right there. Overlooked, a man of few words, no gear, no glitz, no glamour, just consistently being one of the best backs in the league year in and year out. This season, the Browns as a whole finished 5th in the NFL in rushing yards with 146 per game and 532 rushing attempts on the year, which also placed him at 5th. Now, if we compare Nick Chubb's numbers, we'll see just how impactful he was. Chubb finished this season with 302 carries for 1,525 yards and 12 touchdowns, all while averaging 5 yards per carry, which for most backs would be an outstanding year, but it was a career low for Nick Chubb. I believe Nick Chubb is the most underrated player in the NFL. Everything he's done so far throughout his 5 years have either been with a bad team, or he's been sharing the backfield, or he's been seeing loaded boxes on every play. But the Browns no longer have Kareem Hunt, which means Nick Chubb no longer shares the backfield. And this past season was just year 1 with Deshaun Watson, so as he continues to develop, running lanes will become more and more visible for Nick Chubb. Specifically, what makes Nick Chubb special is his ability to use his speed and quickness while also mixing in that downhill angry running as well. To demonstrate his 2 different approaches, let's look at this play against the Chargers. On any given play, you never know if you're getting speedy Chubb or powerful Chubb, or in this case, both. Not only does Nick Chubb make 5 defenders miss here, which alludes to his power that we were talking about earlier, but then he accelerates down the sideline with an insanely quick change of direction, which ultimately leads to a touchdown. And oh yeah, that guy he just stiff-armed at the end just happens to be Khalil Mack. And there will be time to talk about his power later, but considering he had 23 explosive running plays this season, I think we should start off with his big play ability. In a season where the Browns relied on Chubb more than they ever have, he showed up by posting career best in total rushing yards, as well as matching his career high in touchdowns. His combination of strength and speed is an unfair advantage over defenses at times, and no matter what defenses he faces, his ability to make opponents miss could always allow him to find plenty of running room. Now, having one of the best run blocking offensive lines in the NFL helps, but you also have to read and navigate your way through those blockers. Let's look at this play against the Chargers, for instance. This is nothing more than Nick Chubb making it through the chaos and immediately hitting his second gear, which he does so well. Or here, another one of his strong suits is his ability to read his blockers. Some young running backs might have tried to use their speed to squeeze through here, but Chubb sees his offensive lineman's numbers and knows to run right behind those. Including this run against the Buccaneers, where reading his blockers was a difference of about 15 yards. On the very last second of this outside zone play, the lineman pushes Levante David towards the sideline, which is the direction Chubb was running. But since Chubb is one of the best, he's able to jump cut this run back inside off of the lineman's numbers for a huge gain. Now, Nick Chubb did have 302 rushing attempts, so there were many times where all the yards he gained, he had to earn. Like here, on a play that could have been a 3-yard loss, he breaks a tackle, proceeds to make 3 more guys miss, and picking up the first down, all while managing to stay on his 2 feet. An impressive stat throughout this whole thing is the fact that Nick Chubb only fumbled 1 time this season. So not only is he great, but he's reliable. And he has 1,210 total carries and only 6 fumbles. And with that being said, Chubb's ability to beat up defenders while continuing to get better as the game goes on is a testament to his aggressive running style. Here against the Panthers, you can see pre-snap that there's already 7 guys in the box expecting a run. And as this play develops, it should really be a loss of yards. But as always, Chubb never goes down off initial contact and takes this from a negative 3-yard run to about a 5-yard gain. And this one against Tampa Bay is literally on the first play of the game. And it may not have went for a ton of yards, but the physicality and broken tackles let Tampa know what kind of day they're in for. All the little details are what makes this run special. First off, arm tackles won't stop Nick Chubb. Even with 2 defenders tackling him up top, there's still a defender holding on for dear life to try and help bring this man down. And this is still a 10-yard gain. Nick Chubb finished with one of his lowest numbers in the yards per attempt category this season, but ever since he stepped into the NFL, he's averaged 5 yards per carry. That literally means if you give him the ball twice, that's a guaranteed first down. But he was extremely dominant to start out the regular season, as he rushed for over 100 yards in 5 out of the first 8 games. And as a result of his dominant play, he finished this season as one of only 3 players in the NFL to log 50 yards or more in every game, while also finishing second in the NFL with games over 100 scrimmage yards. It really just shows how great Nick Chubb is, that this team was falling apart all around him, but yet he still continued to produce at a very high level. And there's a quote that says, "The loudest person in the room is often the weakest person in the room." And what that means is the quiet ones are the ones you have to be on the lookout for. And when it comes to Nick Chubb, that quote couldn't be any more true. Next season, Chubb won't have to share carries with another running back, but he will have to share plays, considering the Browns would like to throw more with Deshaun Watson. So my prediction for Chubb next season will be less carries, somewhere around 260 to 280 carries on the year, but for more yards, somewhere around 1,600 rushing yards, since the defenses will be a little more spread out, while also tacking on a little over 12 touchdowns. Chubb is every franchise's dream. A superstar who just shows up and does his work. Nothing extra about him. No gear, no sound bites, no drama. Just 100 rushing yards every time he steps onto that turf. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to comment part 2, and I'll drop a full team analysis as well. Until then, be sure to check this video out, which is all about another incredibly underrated player. Peace.